Good morning and good morning and good morning again, everybody. Welcome to Coffee Time. This is yours truly, Terrence Pickett. How y'all doing this morning? Let's see who's on. We're a little bit early, maybe a couple of minutes. Pamela Davis Stewart, I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for just over the years rocking with me. And thanks for being here on this morning. Corey Doolittle. Y'all give it up for my boy, Corey Doolittle. It's good to see you, man. Yes, sir. Will Neal is on. Give it up for Will, y'all. Yes, sir. Give it up for Will Neal, Corey Doolittle. Good to see y'all this morning. Man, in the words of my grandmother, it's another day's journey. And I'm so glad. We're getting old, y'all. We're becoming them. Y'all are maybe, but you know. Anyway, it's so good to see you all this morning. This morning, we're going to be talking about walking in unfamiliar territory. There's a whole, it's so easy to talk about fear. It's so easy to have discussions on faith, but to actually walk this stuff out is something completely different. And a lot of times, you know, in school, I didn't really do good at tests. I learned the information, at least I thought I was learning it, absorb the information, spend, weeks gathering information and come test time thinking I had it. Then when I see the test, it's like you almost forget everything that you learn. And that's how it is sometimes when you're walking in unfamiliar territory. You've had these conversations, you've hyped yourself up, you've posted about it, you're excited, but when that excitement wears off, when talking about it comes to an end, you got to put that work in. You got to put that work in, and it's going to take some things. There's a whole nother volume of strength that you need to walk in something that you know nothing about. And that's what we're going to be talking about this morning. How was you all's night? Did y'all sleep good? It's okay to answer. I'm talking to you. Did you sleep good? Y'all slept good. I'm so glad you all slept good. So I believe everybody is born with a dream or several dreams. And depending on your level of gift, that's going to determine the things that you're supposed to do. Now, there's an old adage, an old adage or saying that says focus on one thing at a time. Well, that's only applicable to those who are supposed to focus on one thing at one time. When you are highly gifted and you have several dreams, you're going to find yourself in a rotation of things. The thing that you need to prioritize is really the thing that's going to make the most sense for you in the moment. There are a mirage of things that I can say in regards to this. I'm going to try and narrow it down as much as I can. So let's say, so I'm a singer musician, right? That's my passion. Now, if the truth be told, it's music that opened up all these other doors for me. Music created a platform for people to know my name and get to know me. They learned me through music, whether it was church, whether it was a wedding or a funeral. The majority of the people that I've come to know, I got to know them through music. Now, music, and because it established my name, Letitia, good morning. We got a call at 10, just so you would know. It established my name, music, praise and worship, wedding songs, funerals. God, I've done my share of funerals. Well, it was music that introduced me to the average person, and it was through that music that they got to know me. Now, watch this. It was singing in church that caused me to build lifelong relationships that causes my hand to reach in places now that I wasn't qualified for. I want y'all to hear this morning. So it was what I was familiar with that began to usher me or walk me into the unfamiliar. I never forget, I was 20. I was either 20 or 21 years old when I got my first offer to be the minister of music of a church. I'd never done that before. I'd been singing. I'd sing on the road all over the world. God had blessed us. We traveled, my brother and I, Freddie. We traveled the globe singing, and we did it at an early age, and we did it at a high level. All right. We were singing on the Stellas. We were singing on the Arsenio Hall show. We were doing that thing on a big level. Okay. So I'd never been the minister of music. I'd always been in a position to be taught. But when I got my first offer to be the teacher, it was a little unnerving, but I felt I was prepared because I can sing. I was confident in that. Wake me up 2, 3, 4, 5 in the morning. I got a hymn in my heart and a song on my lips. Nikki Mitchell, good to see you. I'm so used to saying Nikki Nicole, but you done took Nicole off. Good to see you anyway. So the very first time I walked into the position of becoming a minister of music, there were a lot of things that I did not know. I was not comfortable with the role, but I was comfortable with the music. So I used the music as a comfort to help me in the role. Now, I was born a leader. I believe that with all my heart. Take me to kindergarten. I've been telling people what to do. Hey, that's kindergarten. With a blow pop in my mouth, telling people that ain't right. You don't need to do it that way. So there were the attributes I believed in some regard. You're born with the characteristics, but those characteristics have to be developed. So when I was the class leader in kindergarten, first grade, then in 5th grade, I became a safety patrol. 6th grade, I'm a safety patrol. Believe it or not, all of those things work together in grooming me to lead. They were feeding things that were already in me that I didn't know were there. I could not articulate it at the time. I couldn't size it at the time, couldn't measure it at the time. But those things, those positions were feeding the leader that's in me. Now, check this out. I never forget, what's the name of that show? There was a kid show that came on TV. It came on Channel 4. I don't remember what it was, but in fifth grade, I was nominated. Out of 500 kids, I was nominated to go on the show. Not only my little bro is on, Gene Dot, give it up. I was listening to you on radio yesterday, Gene. Be careful, because you're good at it. Be careful. Anyway, I'm going to open up something about Gene in a second, too. But there's a point that I'm trying to address. So out of 500 kids, I was elected. It was. Oh, the name of the show was It's Elementary. Some of y'all young folk, y'all don't know nothing about that. But there was a TV show that came on every Saturday morning, I believe between either 8, 9, or 10 o'clock. It's called It's Elementary. It was a game show. And out of 500 kids in my school, and out of over 3,000 kids in Duval County, I was selected to be on a team. Now, when I got to the team consisted of 6 people. I was chosen to be the leader. So we come kind of like Family Feud. That's how it was set up. And I was only 10 years old. And we get together. They'd ask the question. We had a certain amount of time to answer it. And then they had to give the answers to me, or I had to make the final decision on what the answer was going to be. And regardless of what my team said, I had the right to overturn their answers and create my own. And I did. That's why we won. Out of 15 to 20 questions, we got one wrong. I was a student at the time of Norwood Elementary, and I received the Principal's Excellence Award as a result of that show. The whole time, I'm unaware that it is feeding the leader in me. So your life, your father's house, everything that you've been exposed to has always been feeding the ultimate dream in you, and it was preparing you for where you are now. Now, of course, along the way, I ran into, you might know this guy. His name is Mr. Insecurity. Just in certain areas I was very secure. Other areas I was not. And I had to overcome the insecurities. And most times, just to be honest with you, I felt insecure when I was around people who were more qualified than me. At the time, I was young. I was intimidated that they knew more than me, that they could articulate better than me. Well, it was a measurement to show me where I was. And I would take that time and I'd go study, read. I'm talking about as a kid. So the next time I got in the face of these people, I could hold my own weight. So this competitor inside of me also pushed me to be better than the norm. I decided that I was going to study and I was going to read. My grandmother had 2 sets of encyclopedias. I decided I was going to read all of them. And I did twice. Every last encyclopedia, twice. I'm feeding this thing inside of me. My mom had books. My mom had an anatomy book. She was in nursing school. I was a kid. That anatomy book was probably this thick. I decided I was going to study everything in it. I did. Still remember a lot of it. Again, this competitor in me, this ability to shine and not be shined on, this thing inside of me where I wasn't going to be embarrassed, pushed me to equip myself, to educate myself, to put me, because here is what I did not want to be. And I'm talking at 10, 11 years old. I didn't want to be average. Still not average. I'm an enemy of average. Whatever I do it well. Whatever I do, whatever I put my hands on, it has to be the best. Now, when you're called to do multiple things, you may not have the experience, the knowledge, and it may be unfamiliar to you. But no matter the position or whatever you're doing, there's always going to be something familiar you use. All right. I had never, so I became the best minister of music. I became the best worship leader. To this day, I'm respected and revered. You know, we have a hard time with people. There's a scripture in the Bible that says, don't let others basically speak well of you. Don't you speak well of yourself. But it's talking about don't walk in arrogance. Don't you be pompous. It's not saying not to give yourself credit. How does David encourage himself, talk to himself, tell himself that he's what God has made him, but not acknowledge the greatness within himself to others? It's an oxymoron. It's okay to acknowledge your accomplishment. It's not okay for you to beat other people with your accomplishment. It's not okay for your last accomplishment to be your only accomplishment. You've got to always be striving for more. You have to always be in a position of getting better. But you better lift yourself up. This society is not going to do it. You better give yourself credit. The grace of God empowers us to do it, but the grace of God does not do it for you. You got a part to play in it. Okay. So no matter what field you're in, no matter what field or what occupation you are unfamiliar with, there's going to always be something familiar in you for you to stand on in an unfamiliar place. All right. So when I got this coffee shop, we started doing business. Business was okay. And I was trying to make it better. I was trying to increase our revenue. And I wanted to make the best coffee ever. I had never done that before. It's nerve-wracking when other people have to train me because it forces me in a position where now I'm the student and I have to listen. And what frustrates me is not being the student. What frustrates me is while you're teaching, I'm asking a lot of questions because I learn a certain way. And in addition to learning a certain way, I process differently than most people. So you can't tell me when you're teaching me, now the sky is blue. And at night, the sky is going to look black. You can't do that to pick it. You're going to tell me why that sky is blue, and you're going to tell me why it looks black at night, because I'm a man of processes. I have to understand not just the answer, but I have to understand the equation that got you to the answer, because when I know what I know and I know why I know it, that is how I learn. So I never owned a coffee shop. Didn't know nothing about the business, didn't know anything about the product. It made me a student again. It's nerve-wracking when you are used to soaring, winning, shining, and you find something that goes toe-to-toe with you that you cannot overcome and conquer immediately. It takes a certain level of strength internally to walk through unfamiliar places and not lose self-confidence. Listen, most people are confident in the thing that they do while they are doing it, but that confidence is not translated as self-confidence. Let me break it down. Let me break it down. So I can sing. I understand worship. I understand it from a musical point of view, and I understand it from a historical point of view. I also understand it from a theological point of view, and I understand it from an action point of view. All my views are pretty much covered. I've been doing it for so long Doing it alone time doesn't make you good, especially if you're not doing it right. But I'm completely aware of that, right? It's you're not really going to be able to catch me with a blind spot when it comes to music and worship. You can remind me of some things maybe I've forgotten. You can show me a way that I've not seen it done. But in the general sense, I have a wealth of knowledge in this area, not just because I do it, but because I've watched it, because I've been a student of it. All right. So when it comes to walking in the unfamiliar with the coffee shop, managing a team, being able to handle inventory, advertising, marketing, customer service, making sure the product is right, making sure the product is taught right, creating a system, creating a book so that when other people come, all of your practices have been recorded to the point if they read that book, they can learn everything about the business. Doing all that stuff was new to me. It was definitely, I'm walking in unfamiliar territory. But watch, because we've been building in me every day all my life, I'm able to take the principles from being a worship leader, musician, singer. I'm able to take the principles from being a leader in church, a leader at the bank, branch manager. I was vice president. I'm able to draw from all of my skills, and it gives me comfort. Now I can place these skills at the coffee shop and do something that I've never done. I'm able to walk in unfamiliar territory with my familiar lessons that life has brought me. That aids me and provides me with comfort. Even though I don't know what I'm doing, or I didn't know what I was doing when I started, I had enough experience in something that the principles could be transferred in this unfamiliar place. Your mind is extremely, you're extremely brilliant. Let me say that first. You are the original DNA of God. And understanding that you have his DNA and he is the author of all intel, every bit of intellect, knowledge, wisdom, he is the source of that. When you understand that his DNA runs through your blood, when you understand that your mind was created in his likeness, my brain is like his. He created me and formed me in his image and after his likeness. Then he blew into me the breath of life, nephesh, and I became a living soul. Not only do I have his DNA, I have his breath circulating through my lungs. So if I have his breath and I have been created in his image after his likeness, then everything that I am confronted with, even if it's unfamiliar, I have him to reveal to me what I need for the unfamiliar based on where I've been. He teaches us and draws from what we are familiar with, from what we know. Even when he reveals something to us, it's not new. It's new to us because the light comes on. Let me give you an example. You walk in the house, it's dark. You can't see anything. It's dark. But then they turn the light on and you see all this furniture. Well, they didn't just move the furniture in when the light came on. The furniture was there. But the light came on for you to have the ability to see it. So now that you see what's there, it's been illuminated to you. So when he reveals something to you, he uses the substratum of your experiences to articulate in an unfamiliar place sharp principles that are in you that you didn't even know were there. And in other words, I'll almost name this live as you're built for this. So you may be walking in the unfamiliar now, but he's been preparing you for it your whole life. It's no shock to him that you're here because it's him. He's the one that gave the favor. He's behind the call. He's behind the opportunity. And if he's behind the opportunity, he knows that you have in you everything that you need to master this opportunity. So even though it's unfamiliar, there are too many familiar things in you for you to fail. To Mitchell Pratchett, what's up? So no matter the task, no matter the journey, no matter the challenge that is in front of you, you are built and you have everything that's in you, because even though the challenge, the new opportunity may be unfamiliar, you've been prepared. So you look at every heartbreak that you've had. What did you do to overcome it? I'll wait. You look at times in your life when you've been placed in positions where you had to get people to buy in on your ideology in order to move forward. Your ability to inspire someone to follow you in doing whatever, whether you're in management, at the playground, whatever, your ability to get them to buy in on your ideology and your ability to inspire them to the point that they buy into it, to they're doing it, and they're doing it the way you say, says that you are a qualified leader. So even though this place that you're in now, this new opportunity that's been presented, even though it's making you nervous, what's making you nervous is you've never been in this spot before. But you've been qualified because everything that's in you, every experience that you've had, every journey that you've taken has prepared you for this place. I don't believe that there is anything that you can be confronted with that the answer for that issue, I don't believe it's outside of you. Watch. I'm closing on a deal in Houston, Texas. I don't know nothing about Houston. Nothing. But it's the same land that's in Jacksonville, the same type of people that's in Jacksonville, the same buildings that are in Nothing's changed. The only thing that has changed is the location. The geographical location is different. But when I walk in the room, you would think I live there. Why? Where does that confidence come from? Because I'm up under the persuasion that there's nothing new under the sun. The same people that I see here, the personalities are everywhere. From here to China, baby, you run into the same person. Maybe a different nationality, different height, different weight. It's still the same person. Ingrid Busby says, let's share this with everybody. This is good. Just received a promotion doing something I've never done. So thank you for this. You got it. Let me give you all this real quick. The first day I went on radio, I had never done that before. You know who I began to emulate and imitate? Freddie Rose. I had listened to him so much until he was in the basement of my soul. I didn't even realize how strong his voice was to me until the opportunity presented itself and I had to do what he's been doing. And automatically I began to think about him, imitate him. That's how I got through the first days. This is Terrence Pickett, Lord of the Afternoon Drive, Elder International, right here on the new. I was imitating him until I found my own groove. But it was in me. I had been exposed to it. I didn't know I could do it until the opportunity presented himself. Let me tell you why we fail at new opportunities, and let me tell you why we fail in unfamiliar places. We have a lack of self-confidence, and because there's a lack of self-confidence, the fear comes in and literally disqualifies you from everything that you've learned. You don't know that you're already qualified. You think that you're not qualified. You think that God's just so good. Child, it ain't nothing but favor. I wasn't even qualified for this position. Really? You weren't qualified? Maybe you didn't have the credentials, but you are qualified. Everything that you've gone through in life has put you in a position to learn so that when you get to the next level, you don't fail. Now, no, I don't have the journalism degree. No, but I have enough journalism in me to compensate for the lack of a degree. I've studied enough. So positioning yourself in confidence helps unlock the creativity in you so that you can master in unfamiliar places. Will Neal, you better believe it. If you begin to just charter your life, reminisce on where you've gone, where you've been. Let me give you this. For those of you that have been neglected, neglect creates a certain level of strength. Neglect creates a certain level of strength. And the strength that you have now came from not being accepted, and a lack of acceptance gave you the intestinal fortitude and the ability to operate in a position, and you don't need nobody's opinion because you were built for this. Sunshine 1113, thank you. You were built for this. Your ability to need people, your ability to want to have people around, because you've always had someone, you don't know what it means to be lonely, it still qualified you for where you are. Because now we can use you to cross political lines. You have a certain touch at building relationships because you are accustomed to people. It qualified you for where you are. Being in positions where they didn't help you, where they lied on you, where they didn't like you, qualified you that now you're able to move without confirmation of people. You don't care what they say. So everything that you've gone through, no matter what side of the tracks you're from, has prepared you for this unfamiliar place. This unfamiliar place is new in regard to you've never done it before. But there is something familiar inside of you that has prepared you to shine even in the unfamiliar. Now, there are two things I'm gonna finish up on and I'm done. One, facing fear. Let's unlock that real quick. We're going to talk about facing fear, and then we're going to talk about walking in strength. I've often heard it said in my early years that fear, it's an acronym. And this acronym is false evidence appearing real. Let's go through that again. Fear is an acronym. It's false evidence appearing real. Let's if we was in church, I'd tell you, turn to your neighbor. We ain't in church. It's false evidence appearing real. Well, what is false evidence appearing real? Whatever you're afraid of has no grounds, it has no growth, and it has no bite. It only has the ground that you give it, it only has the growth that you give it, and it only has the bite that you give it. It's not real. It's an illusion that is created inside of you to limit you or stop you from progressing forward. The real barrier of fear gains its strength from your mind. The real barrier of fear exists only in your mind. The real strength of fear is fed through how you decide to believe. I'll never forget when I was small, we had a pretty big house because there was a lot of us upstairs, downstairs, and my siblings and we had watched this scary movie. It was I believe it was Friday 13th. And while watching this movie, Friday the 13th, I didn't think I was afraid. I really didn't, because I'm looking at the movie like, man, this ain't real. Watch she fall. And I'm walking through it. And after we got through watching the movie, we had a family room upstairs in our house. My mom asked me to go get her a glass of water. If you weren't raised where your parents sent you to they 5 feet from the remote, you weren't raised right. They'll call you from downstairs upstairs just to hand her. Anyway, she sent me to get her a glass of water downstairs. So I went downstairs. It was dark to get her water. Except for this time, I heard something. The image that came to my mind was Jason or Freddy Krueger, one of them boys. Which one from Friday the 13th? Jason or Freddy? Whoever it was, I heard a noise and immediately they came to my mind. Let me tell you why they came to my mind. I had just fed my soul, my mind through the movie, and those images were fresh in my brain. So now I go downstairs, I hear a noise. What you think gonna come to mind? What you put in it. Here's the deal. Check it. Fear has no gravity in your life. It's not real. It doesn't exist. The only thing that it does, fear is a question in your mind on how you choose to believe. Was Freddie or Jason in my house? No. I just thought they were there. It is an illusion that came from a previous conclusion. I concluded to watch the show. The show is now in my mind. I go downstairs in the dark to get my mom some water. While I'm down there, I hear this noise. I think it's what I put in my mind. So if you are in fear, what have you fed yourself? If you don't feed yourself confidence, positivity, if you're not accustomed to walking in unfamiliar places, trusting yourself, when you're not accustomed to trusting you, then when new opportunities come or you walk in unfamiliar places, you're not going to trust you. You're not used to trusting you. You don't have any experience in trusting you. So now you're in this new place and you're afraid. I'm used to trusting me. I'm used to walking in a room, owning it. I'm used to standing in the face of fear and adversity, telling I'm not going to flinch, I'm not going to move. I am used or accustomed, even when I get knocked down, even on the days when I don't feel like getting out of the bed, something in me comes to the surface and pulls me out of tough places. That's what I'm accustomed to. So even when I'm walking in unfamiliar places, I'm not afraid because I'm accustomed to being strong. Opportunity is going to reveal what you've invested in. What have you been feeding your mind? Let me show you. So this is what I do. I read books, then I'll go back and read them. I read new books, then I go back and read old books. Let me give you I didn't even know the show was going to go this way. Let me get these books from over here real quick. All right. So whatever you feed yourself is what grows in you, and that's what you become. And when you start walking in unfamiliar places, what stands up in you is what you are accustomed to doing. So the challenge, I never forget, and I'm going to show you these books. I never forget. Let me tell you how I got this. I moved up the ranks real good in banking. I was running banks internationally and regionally. All right. When I went into banking, I didn't have any banking experience. I'm a college dropout. All right. During the time I went in banking, you had to have a degree to be a loan officer. Some of you might remember that. You had to have a 4-year degree to be a loan to loan folk money, to operate as a loan officer. You had to have. You don't have to have it now. Back then, you did. All right. I had never worked in banking, but I got my first sales job at the PBA. It was a telemarketing company. Immediately after high school, I began to work with my dad in construction, and I worked in this telemarketing company 4 hours a day. From 9 to 1, I worked for, PBA, Police Benevolence Association. I got rid of that one and went to another telemarketing agency for the fire. We were raising money for the firefighters. They gave us a script, and we had to sell on the phone. All right. After I left that job, I got my first real job at Media One. They had just changed the name from Continental Cablevision to Media One. My job at Media One, I worked in NASA. That was the name of the department. It's New Account Sales Associate. That's what I was. Working in NASA, my job was when you called in to talk about your cable, you called in with a problem. My job was to upgrade you and give you HBO Cinemax. In order to do that, I had to be able to sell. All right. So I'm telling you, these last 3 jobs, all of them were sales position. They were phone sales position. There's a certain craft that you have to be able to sell people on the phone. You're not in person. They can't read your body language. They can't read your nonverbals. Selling them on the phone. All right. I went from new account sales associate, from being a new account sales associate, and a friend of mine by the name of Clay Benjamin, he and I are still friends today, told me about a position as a loan officer at Syntex Mortgage. I didn't have any banking experience. I didn't have any mortgage experience. None. All right. He got me on. It took me 8 months of ask Clay Benjamin. He's on Facebook. He will tell you. I call him people every day. I was consistent to the point that the branch manager told me, don't ever call again. I'm calling too much. They're trying to get work done. But I was not only calling, I would show up. Well, after 8 months, they hired 2 or 3 people. Didn't work out. They finally gave me my chance. I knew nothing about mortgage, nothing about banking, but I knew sales. So I'm in an unfamiliar environment, unfamiliar place. I'm doing something unfamiliar, but I can count on the experience of phone sales that I had. So I started closing more. My first month, I closed 10 loans. You were supposed to close 3. I exceeded the expectation because I used what I was equipped with. I'm used to being at the bottom, having to prove myself and work myself up. That's not new to me. I was always overlooked and doubted, voted least likely to succeed. And the people that voted me least likely to succeed, now I'm their employer. I hired them. So I am used to overcoming, winning, and shining. I'm not used to losing, because even when I failed, I got myself up. I had to look, write some things down. What did I do right? What did I do wrong? What could I have done better? These are the charts in any situation that I had to review, because if I'm not growing from it, I'm not going to it. Your growth promotes you to the next level, even when you fail, because at least you know in failure what not to do the next time. You have to be able to look at yourself in the mirror and figure out what you did wrong or what you could have done better in order to grow to the next place. Talk to people around you. Talk to people that know. Ask them, what do you think I could have done differently? So there's never been a lost opportunity in my life, because I've learned from all of them. Even when I was fired for lies, I've never gotten fired for not doing my job. Every time I got fired off a job, it was something personal. Let me tell you the number one reason I did not last in a lot of these jobs. I was the best at it. They fired me because they were intimidated, because don't ask me a question and you don't want me to tell you the truth. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. And that's when I knew I wasn't built for corporate. I got to do my own thing, because y'all want me to lie and kiss up to you. I don't have time for that. It's not a part of my personality. I don't need people in that regard. I don't need people to stroke my ego. I'm used to being alone. And I'm not finna stroke yours, because I'm used to being alone. So even though I was raised in a house full of siblings, I was always doing my own thing. So when I say I don't need people, I'm not saying in a general sense I don't need people, because we all need somebody. What I'm saying is I don't need people to survive, because the majority of my life I survived by myself. Well, that is now precious to me, because it's created a strength for me to overcome anything thrown at me. I'm not scared to let you go. My emotional attachment, I draw a line with it when it comes to business. I can love you and fire you. I fired family, close family, and we still friends. But there's something in me that is driven by the principle and not the emotion. The problem with most of us, we're emotionally driven, and this is why we hold on to people that's causing our ship to sink. Jonah was on, since y'all, I got to go Bible. Jonah was the loser on this ship, and he was causing everybody around him to lose. When they got rid of him, they won. Some of you, your next stage of winning is in you releasing the people that are with you that are causing you to drown. If you don't know how to get rid of people and still love them, you're unqualified. So you won't be able to have an opportunity where it requires you to fire people and still look at them in the eye. You'll have to hate them in order to fire them. They'll have to make you mad in order to fire them. No, you don't have emotional intelligence. I don't hate you because I fired you. I love you. I still like you. In fact, after I fire you, we can go to lunch and eat. It's just that you're not a good fit for this company with where we are right now. No emotions. None. No judgment either. Because I want to help you get where you thrive. You're not going to sink my boat, and I'm going to help you win. So every skill level, every time I've been fired, it was because of something personal. I never forget at this particular banking job that I was on. I won all the awards in 6 months. It took some people 10 years to do. I did it in 6 months. And the manager got mad and jealous because he could no longer tell me how to. You can't tell me how to sell, and I done broke your record. This manager had been there 25 years, and it took him 15 to establish himself. Well, sir, it took me 30 days to do what you done in 15. What are you going to tell me? You can tell me about this company's systems. You can teach me that. You can't teach me sales, sir. And because he was intimidated, let me tell you what he wrote me up for. He wrote me up for insubordination. Let me tell you what it was. I'm on a call. He's monitoring my call. I'm their number one sales agent. Nobody's selling more volume than me. He's shadowing me to do my 90-day evaluation. And he tells me, you shouldn't have told her about the interest rate. Because if you tell her about the interest rate, that brings fear. And I looked at him and told him, that's why I told her about the interest rate, because she don't need no surprises at the closing table. I need to tell her about the interest rate up front and manage my task tension. I need for it to be tense. I need for it to get ugly. And then I need to see how she's going to respond to it so that I can answer it so we don't have no surprises on the back end. So I tell everybody everything up front. Hey, your interest rate is going to be extremely high, but let me show you what I've done. I've created a plan for you to be able to pay this mortgage off instead of 15 years. You're going to do it in 5 just by adding a little money to the monthly mortgage. Not only are you going to cut the term in half, you're going to also cut the rate in half. And this is how you do it. He didn't like that. That was personal. If he was smart, he would have took my plan and gave it to the team. But he started writing me up for stuff, and then they fired me. Well, when they fired me, I went to their competitor and took their business because it became personal. I took that personal. Your skill in the unfamiliar, you should still be familiar with your skill. You can still shine in places you've never been if you develop the confidence to overcome fear. Fear is introduced to most because they are unprepared. I'm used to being me. I'm excellent at being me. So no matter where you meet me, I'm going to be me. I clown in church. I clown at the White House. I clown in the basement, and I clown at the schoolhouse. I am the same everywhere, and I'm used to being me, and I've learned how to use me to my advantage. So I'm not acting. I'm not changing. I'm not acting like I'm somebody that I'm not. And because of that, I have experience at being me. So because I have experience at being me, I'm not afraid when there's something unfamiliar to me. I'm going to learn it, I'm going to master it, and I'm going to win. That has been my practice. Now, it doesn't mean certain losses, certain failures didn't hurt. I'm just accustomed to working through my hurt, working with my hurt, working in spite of my hurt. I'm human now. I'm not a 10 man. My feelings have been hurt. People fired me and it crushed me because I didn't deserve that. And I've been tempted with the woe is me attitude. It's come across my mind. I felt it for a second. I just didn't stay there. And I did not allow my feelings to drive. Hey, I give myself a time limit to grieve. I give myself a time limit to grieve anything, a relationship, a job, people, death. I got a time limit. I said it. It's generally 3 days. After 3 days, we got to do something about it. Now, here's the other thing. My competitive nature, my inability to lose, now they collide. So the next thing that I grab, I'm going to have the synergy that is necessary and the passion to push me beyond ordinary expectations. You can't hurt and operate out of hurt for freaking ever. You've got to learn how to manage the pain and in your tears, develop a plan. Listen, man, I lost one of my best friends, childhood friends. We buried him not Saturday past, but Saturday before last. That thing messed me up. It caught me off guard. He wasn't sick or anything like that. Just some unfortunate things happened in the moment, and his body just didn't respond the way it should have, and he died. bothers me. It ate me up. It still bothers me. But I gave myself 3 days to grieve. That was the day I found out. It was the day after that. One day after that. Now, how I recover, how my healing starts, what I've said to myself and in my mind, he is gone. Terrence Pickett, you got to hear this. I looked at myself in the mirror. Terrence Toy is gone. He's in a better place. Now you've got to become better. You can't cry over him forever. You can't stay down. You can't allow depression to set in. People are not used to getting over stuff. That's why they stay in it, and it's hard for them to move on. It's not a part of their memory. And whatever is not a part of your memory, you cannot put a demand on. I'm used to working with pain. I'm used to working with grief. So in the face of pain and grief, I'm still going to win because I'm accustomed to it. Here's the other thing. I'm used to working being broke. Ooh, I got some stories to tell you. I was sleeping in my car. I had a 350 Mercedes-Benz coupe, sunroof. Oh, yeah. The girls liked it. Oh, yeah. And I got hit by the IRS. They took all my assets. House got condo got foreclosed on, got put out. I am sleeping in my car, trying to figure it out, with enough clothes in my car for the next 3 days. I parked at the hotel. It's on Bay Meadows. It's right next door to that Waffle House. They had just built that. This has been about 10 years ago almost. At the time, I was on radio too. I'm on radio telling people how to win, and I'm sleeping in my car. The people that saw me, they thought I was some hero because I'm telling them how to overcome, and I'm sleeping in my car. Did I want to be there? No. Was I tempted to feel woe is me? Yep. But woe is me don't get you nowhere. You better come up with a plan. I slept in my car. And in the mornings, I would wake up. I'd hang out. I would hang out all day. And I wouldn't park at the hotel till about 11 o'clock at night, okay, when there's no traffic, because I didn't want it to be obvious what I was doing. I didn't want people to come by. I parked in the back, okay, and I let the seat all the way down so nobody could see me. In the morning, I would get up, go in the hotel. There's always, especially when they're cleaning, I'm going to give you a secret to a hotel. Normally when they are cleaning, they're cleaning multiple rooms at the same time. One of them going on break. I'd sneak in, take a shower, different rooms while they were cleaning. Make sure they clean the room first. I didn't want to be washing on somebody else. I had to be creative. It's called survival. Nobody got time to be feeling sorry for you. That's why when people be whining about what they're going through, I'm thinking to myself, yeah, but there's something in you that can overcome that if you let it. As long as you wallow in what you don't have, you'll never see what you can get. I've always been a forward thinker. Yeah, I'm in a bad place. No, I don't want to be here, but I'm not finna lay in it. Take a shower, get dressed. I just got a new job. Go to work, win. Hang out with my friends, go to one of my relatives' house. They didn't even know what I was going through. Sleep in my car, and I did that for about 2 months till I got my first check from a job. My first check from my job was $18,000. Had enough money now to get an apartment. But because the IRS was garnishing my wages, I wouldn't get all of it. So the first apartment I moved into, I only stayed there 90 days. Got another one. I was evicted 3 times in a freaking row because I could not afford it. I was making good money, but they was taking it. I had to find a way. So I started doing advertising, making flyers, sharpening my skills. And I told the people, you got to pay me cash. Listen to me. However you train yourself to believe is what you're going to become. Who you become is going to determine who you are in the face of unfamiliar. You can't tell me about hard times. I know all about them. I know how to eat off $5 and put $2.50 in my tank. I didn't have no money. I was going to, Wendy's, Burger King, McDonald's, eating off the value menu. Survival. Everything you've gone through has qualified you for what's next. You will only succeed in the unfamiliar. You will only succeed in what's next based on how you decided to believe. All right. I think that's enough for today. Walking in the unfamiliar. You got this, man, woman. You straight. Every day when I end the show, this is one of the things that I say to you every day, and I'm going to show you these books. I tell you, there's nothing that can happen to you today that the wisdom inside of you cannot handle. How did that wisdom get there? You've got experience. You've been through some stuff. You survived it. I heard somebody say the other day, they said that today is the yesterday that you were worried about for tomorrow. You made it. Just making it to the day is a confirmation you're going to be all right. Here are the books that I'm reading now. I've read all of them before, but I decided I'm gonna read them. I'm reading all of them, and I'm different. I read all of them at the same time. One is Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's a classic, but it's really, really good. It'll retrain you in terms of how you need to be thinking. That's this. Okay. There's another book that I read before. I'm reading again. It's called Her. There's another book that I read before by Malcolm Gladwell. It's called Blink. It's a really good book. The Power of Thinking Without Thinking. Oh, here's a classic and a goodie. The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Powerful Lessons in Personal Change. And this other book that I'm reading, there are certain portions of it I'm reading. It's a Greek and Hebrew book. It's the basic steps toward Christian maturity. That writing is in Hebrew. And I'll always keep this with me. I travel with the little sachet case. I can carry it upright or I can put it on my back. And I always have this because I digest things better when I write. All kind of stuff written in here. Let me see. So I get these quotes throughout the day. I just write them down. Read this one. It's from 2016. This is what I wrote. March 3rd, 2016. Get out of your feelings. Feelings will cause you to react instead of responding. Reactions aren't calculated and can cause you to lose long term. That's pretty good. Oh, that's pretty good. We got passwords in here. I've got one client paid $3,500, another client $2,500, another client paid $15,000. The numbers here, some money I made with my consulting business. I've got an account and routing number. One of my business partners, I had to send him some cash. So I'm always a student. You never arrive. I don't care how dark the day, how cold the night. Everything you've gone through has prepared you for where you are now. You can win with a bad hand. You've got enough experience. You got to believe it. You got to believe in you. You've got to get used to believing in you. You got to get used to shining with nothing. When I didn't have nothing, no money or a pot to pee in, and I was living in my car, that didn't determine who I was. I walked in that hotel like I owned it. I was getting ready to steal their water and their rags, and I walked in like I owned it. This is no lie. One day I got dressed because I wore suits to work at the time. And when I was leaving, the lady, excuse me, are you the manager? I looked at her, manager of what? This hotel? She said, yes. No, ma'am. She said, do you own it? I say, I will. Places, occupations, and circumstances should never define you. You were built on the rock. You have God's DNA. You shine because of him. You're a winner because of him. You got to believe it. And no matter what you're confronted with, you got to know you got this. Hey, thank y'all. I appreciate you. Listen, I'm able to do what I do because of your love. Without your support, I can't do it. I need your help. We are launching our church. We are having services for the first time July 17th. A lot of people thought it was June 17th. We're launching our church July 17th. Everything that you give me now is going to continue to help everybody that we help, but it's also going to help us with the establishing of this new ministry. My Cash App is on the screen. If you don't mind, and you can you sow 1,000, 500, 200, 50? Can you sow something today? It helps the general purpose for what we are here for, and that is to help people make them better and buy back the block. I love y'all. Appreciate y'all. Cash App is on the screen, and all you get understanding. You were born to win, predestined to succeed. There's nothing that can happen to you today that the wisdom on the inside of you is not equipped to handle. You got to calm down, slow down, be quiet, and let wisdom speak. When wisdom speaks, you will always win. You all have a blessed day, and always remember to think higher, speak life.
Coffee time, coffee time. Yeah, this ain't your average cup of joe. Listen, I need it in the morning, I need it at night. He always keeps it brewing, he always keeps it tight. Just a little sip, it'll get you right. Terrence Pickett always be the one that gets the coffee right. The coffee's right, the coffee's right in my life. It's never a wrong time or a crime to get what's yours and to get what's mine. Come on. Coffee time in my life. Coffee time feels so right. I need a little sugar, put it in my cup. Can you stir it, Terrence? Let me know what's up. And at the end of the show, you can brew another pot. Just make sure you make it hot. Come on.